So since we finished the respiratory system completely, now we are going to start on abdomen. So according to our schedule, so today we have to start abdomen. So we will do abdomen short case examination. The examination techniques and also the procedures, examination skills, I will be teaching you all. If you can't hear, please let us know. Right. Okay. So the command given to me is examine this patient's abdomen. So I am going on the, and I also have posted the abdomen handout, but don't print it because I just like gave a very superficial handout to you just for this presentation, for this class system examination. I have given a handout to you in your WhatsApp group. Just go through that, but don't print that. Like before Sunday's class, I will give a very nice, good, comprehensive handout. Just don't print that. Just you can go through the steps in that. Okay. So the command given to me was examine this patient's abdomen. So again, same rules. Right side of the patient. Then I will gel my hands. And I will introduce myself to the patient. මම අවසන් වෛද්‍ය ශිෂ්‍යයෙක් මම ඔයාව පරීක්ෂා කරන්න යන්නේ හොඳයි බඩේ කුමක් තියෙනවද නෑ නේද බඩ රිදෙන්නේ නෑනේ so before I start examining I will ask when patient got any abdominal pain or not right so the abdomen examination few steps you have to do close to the abdomen and the other steps you have to do at the foot end so first I'm going to go to the foot end of the patient. So foot end of the patient. So at the foot end, I will slightly bend down and see whether his abdomen is distended. So at the foot end, I will see whether his abdomen is distended or not. So you can obviously notice when you bend down that his abdomen is distended. It's a distended abdomen. And this distension also you have to be more specific. You have to see whether it's symmetrically distended. That is, you can see the abdomen is distended. And that distension also you have to see whether it's symmetrical or asymmetrical. Here you can obviously see the right side and the left side is symmetrically distended. So I told you, if you get a massive splenomegaly, left side will be more distended, and if you get a massive hepatomegaly, the right side will be more distended. Right. So if you can get a closer. Yeah. Okay. Right, thank you. Thank you very much. So here you can see the abdomen is definitely distended and the distension is symmetrical. Distension is symmetrical on either side. And also you can see abdomen moves with respiration. So at the foot end you have to see whether abdomen is distended, then also whether abdomen moves with respiration. Then you come close to the abdomen. Now. So I am standing close to his abdomen. So now I am standing close to his abdomen. So close to his abdomen, what am I going to look for? Whether he got an everted umbilicus. You can obviously notice his umbilicus is everted. What do you mean by everted? It's coming out, it's popping out. So this is called an everted umbilicus. Umbilicus is popping out. Everted umbilicus. If you press here, reducible. And again come out. So he got an everted umbilicus. I just pressed it down, but he got an obviously everted umbilicus. Then the next thing is you have to see whether there are distended superficial abdominal veins. He has not got any distended superficial abdominal veins, but you have to look for whether there are any distended. Either you can see radiating abdominal veins, what you call caput medusae, or you can see elongated abdominal veins. So he does not have any distended superficial abdominal veins which you get in portal hypertension. Also, you need to see whether the patient has got any surgical scar marks. So there's one common scar mark is paramedian incision, like this. It's given in the handout, paramedian incision. Then you can get polycystectomy, open polycystectomy scar mark here. The appendicectomy scar mark here, right iliac fossa, appendicectomy scar mark. Then splenectomies come up here. The splenectomies come up on the left side. Any nephrectomy come up, you will notice like this. And the fenestrale incision you will notice here. Fenestrale incision in females. Then also if you see a scar mark like this, going like this, and with a thick like this. On the right iliac fossa, if you notice a scar mark like this, with a small upward projection like this, like this. That's called reverse tick sign. Reverse ticks. The normal tick you put like this is a reverse tick, and that you get after the renal transplant. Renal transplant, usually the kidney is placed in the right iliac fossa. So, what are the components that we did in inspection? I went to the foot test and see whether abdomen is distended and whether distension is symmetrical, and also whether abdomen moves with respiration, then came close to the abdomen, see whether umbilicus is everted, and whether there are distended superficial abdominal veins, and also whether he got any surgical scar marks. Yes, he got surgical scar marks. Next is, I am going to start with superficial palpation. So, inspection, palpation, percussion, and if needed, auscultation. So, inspection part is over. Now, I am going to proceed with palpation. So, there are two palpations, superficial palpation and deep palpation. So, superficial palpation, you see the flat of the head, starting at the left iliac fossa. So, this is the left iliac fossa, left lumbar, left hypochondrium, epigastric region, right hypochondrium, right lumbar, right iliac fossa, suprapubic or vertical hypogastrium, and the central umbilical. Those are the contents. So before I touch the patient, I have to ask him whether he got any pain. Very important. And you look at his eyes, not at the abdomen. You must keep looking at his eyes whether he gets any pain. This is the movement. Look at my hand, the way I do the palpation. So when I put my hand, I will look for any lumps or tenderness. So I'm going to start on deep palpation. Then the next component of deep palpation is for organomegaly. I have to look for hepatomegaly going in this direction. So look at my finger. So I am starting with the right iliac fossa and moving my hand towards the right subcostal margin. This is his right subcostal margin, and I am moving my hand like this, perpendicular to right subcostal margin. That is for liver. Then for the spleen is the left subcostal margin. I have to start little below the umbilicus and go towards the left subcostal margin, perpendicular to the left subcostal margin in this direction. Then I have to palpate the kidneys, looking for kidney palatability like this. And then finally the percussion. So those are the steps that I'm going to do. Right. Let's start with the liver. Keeping your hand like this. Keep your hand like this. Then to start at the right iliac fossa, and the movement is only during expiration. There's no movement during inspiration. In inspiration, we let the liver come down and hit your fingers. We let the liver come down and hit your fingers. So in inspiration, you have to keep your hand still, and movement is only during. So like that, the movement is during expiration. So now watch. उसमें गर्मी है पाला See, only during expiration I move my fingers. No inspiration, still. उसको जानते हैं ना? उसको जानते हैं ना? मैं तो उसको जानते हैं। So I did not feel any organomegaly, particularly I could not palpate any hepatomegaly. So I am going to percuss. This is the technique of percussion. In the abdomen you will feel only the tympanic percussion. Tympanic, 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 and tympanic, and these are the right subcostal. They are also tympanic. So that means there is no hepatomegaly or there is no enlarged right hip. Now I am going to start with the spleen examination. So keep your right hand like this and go perpendicular to the left subcostal muscle. उसमें करना है ये पाला उसमें करना उधर तो उसमें करना गम्बरू तो उसमें करना ये लगा और करने नहीं और करने So he did not have splenomegaly also. Right? But that's not enough. Then after that, you have to put your left hand like this to his loin region and give a gentle push up and again do it. That's looking for bimanual palpation. Usme gadi lapa. Then I went to the left subcostal margin and still I could not palpate. And the third step, magi pattern put the parents, magi pattern shoot the parent. Amar. Put the parent. Parent. Harila. So see the sideward movement. Uda kapula navala, yata kapula digas. Answer. Obi. So this is the way I have to position it. You can see the left leg. Left leg is bent and the right leg is straight. And I am putting my left hand to his loin region like this and palpate with my hand to see whether he got a splenomegaly. उसमें क्या? ये लपा I no, he has got a splenomegaly. Hari, killing us the heron, na? Obviously, Hari. Now I am going to percuss and see. Timpani, and timpani. So he hasn't got any splenomegaly. Now I am going to look for kidney palatability. He's putting my left hand to his left loin region and giving a gentle push like this. Keeping my hand like this and look for kidney palatability. Just no palatability on the left side. Now on the right side. There's no palatability. Right. Now palpation part is. Then comes the percussion. Percussion for free fluid. Now see how I'm going to do that. So my left fingers are directed towards his feet. Directed towards feet like this. So here in the middle position I have kept my fingers. Directing the fingers towards the feet. And I'm going to do the percussion. So other fingers have slightly lifted up. Timpani. Timpani, I am going towards the loin region. Timpani, dal. So, timpani, listen carefully. Timpani, timpani, dal. Again, I will show you that. Timpani, timpani, dal. Dal. So that means he has got flank dullness. Now I am going to see whether he has got shifting dullness. So when you want to test shifting dullness, you got the dullness, you will keep the finger like this, without moving it, get the patient to turn to the opposite side. आगे बैठने छुट्टा करें. हाँ, होगी. Wait for 5 seconds, and you are going to again refocus, because if there was fluid there, and then they will drain to the other side, and it will change back to tympanic fluid. Let's see. Yeah, it has changed back to the tympanic fluid. So which means there had been shifting dullness. Now on the other side, tympanic, dull, and dull. So he has got bilateral flank dullness, and that's bilateral shifting dullness. And when you get that much of fluid, you also can look for horseshoe dullness. There is dullness here, and dullness here. Tympanic, and dull. So now I am going to check for what is called fluid thrill, because he has got horseshoe dullness. मैं आता आ रहा हूँ तद करना बटन तद करना बटन तद करना आणि तद कर बटन तद करना. So the transmission waves is going to obstruct तद करना. I'm going to keep one hand like this and give a gentle tap like this with the other hand to the other side of the abdomen. So I can nicely feel that what is called fluid thrill. So when I give a tap like this, I can feel a wave which is coming and hitting my hand. To obstruct that, he is putting his hand like this in the middle position. I can obviously feel a nice wave coming and hitting my hand. That's called fluid thrill. So this gentleman has got large amount of ascites. He has got flank dullness, got shifting dullness, horseshoe dullness, as well as he got what is called fluid thrill. So there's no auscultation here. So abdominal examination is over. Now after that, I'm going to proceed with general examination. So you can start from head to that order. Right. First, the general appearance. He is not wasted. So general appearance is important. The patient is not wasted. He is of average build. Uda balanda ponda. Look for conjunctival panel. Mask with the patra. Uda balanda ponda. There's no conjunctival fellow. Now you are going to look for icterus. There is no icterus. Right. So I'm going to use normal papillae. There's no glossitis and there are no angular stomatitis, and it's not pain. Mask. Then also you have to palpate the parotid area to see whether the patient got any parotid swelling. Why parotid swelling? Because it's a peripheral stigma of chronic liver cell disease. Then you have to examine his upper chest, whether there are any red colored dots. Purpura. What is that? Spinedema. So you look for any spinedema, red colored dots above the nipple level. He hasn't got them. Then you have to palpate his male breast and see whether he has got gynecomastia. He hasn't got any gynecomastia. Then you have to examine his axillary area, whether he has got loss of axillary hair. No, he has normal axillary hair. You can obviously notice that he is having an IV cannula. Then you go to the head. Head, what are you going to look for? You are going to look for clubbing. So I am going to bend down. You see, I am bending down. Let's see whether he has got any clubbing. No, he hasn't got any clubbing. That's no problem. Then the other thing is you have to see whether he has got white nails of a or leukonychia of a chronic liver cell disease. Then there's also another physical sign called half and half nail sign. Half and half nails you get in chronic kidney disease. Half and half nails given in the handout, in the printout. I will show you more pictures. He has not got in. He's a dark man, and you will notice this fingernail, the proximal half is whitish, but the distal half is pinkish. Yeah, can you notice that? Maybe it is difficult. So that is called half and half nail sign. Half and half nail. Right. Then you have to turn to the other side of the palm and palpating. What are you looking for? Diffuse contractions. Diffuse contraction, yeah, you will get flexion deformity like this. So he has not got any diffuse contraction. Then we are going to look for flapping tremors. And also we have to look for liver palms because he got palmar erythema. Palmar erythema was called liver palms. අන්තික මෙහෙම තියාගන්න මහත්මයා. පැටර්න් දෙන්න එපා. මෙහෙම උන් තියාගන්න පැටර්න් දෙන්න නැති. They're looking for flappy tremors. He hasn't got that. No flappy tremors. Hari, පල්ලෙන්. හොඳයි. Now, in a patient with CKD, sometimes you will have to look at the forearm. In the forearm, you might see very dilated and tortuous veins. And also you might see a scar mark. Why is that? That's due to arteriovenous fistula that we form in order to perform dialysis. Right. He hasn't got that. Then, usually we don't examine the genitalia, but ideally speaking you have to, but we don't examine here. Then you straight away go to the feet. So in the legs you can see this gentleman has got massive edema. He has got massive bilateral edema. So when you put pressure, and when you do that, you can see that he has got obvious bilateral pitting ankle edema. So you can see that here pitting and also here you can notice. You can notice pitting. You can feel that there's a big indentation. That is pitting ankle edema. If you get a close. Obvious pitting ankle edema. Right. So that concludes the abdominal examination. But one more thing. So finally you get the patient to sit up. Why? You have to examine his lymph nodes. Abdominal examination is not complete unless you do the lymph node examination. So you go behind the patient and examine the lymph nodes. Because sometimes you might get a case where your supraclavicular node or the vertex node may be palpable. It's not there. Okay. More visually, yeah.